Audrey. I'm a 3-year senior living in Palmer, and today I'm up here to do something that doesn't come very easily to me, and that's talking about myself. Reasons why this PowerPoint is named Adriana Maria Gonzalez. Many of you have seen this picture floating around campus. Yes, I'm the girl who wrote the book. It was published last year in Mexico in Spanish, and it's called Yo soy la monarca, which translates to I am the monarch butterfly. Anyway, this book was meant for children and their parents in Mexican society where learning disabilities are very much taboo. The butterfly is basically a metaphor for the main character who was inspired by me and my experiences alongside my parents. Back to my mother, she's always very elegant, she's always reading, but most importantly, she's always reading about the brain. I've shadowed her in her job with children ever since I have any recollection, and my love for cognitive and behavioral sciences has definitely been thanks to her. When I walked in on her therapy sessions, I saw struggling families that didn't understand why their children behaved the way they did, and I often saw scenes like this one. My mom and I witnessed out-of-control parents completely misunderstanding the fact that their children weren't a problem, but rather that they had a problem. Sometimes it was trauma, sometimes it was ADHD, and sometimes it was just neglect. These pictures come straight out of my book, by the way. I also often saw scenes like this one, mothers crying because they felt guilt and responsible for not understanding their child, for failing them and not helping them sooner. Scenes like this made me understand what the world of behavioral sciences meant to me, and the great satisfaction I felt when I saw lives quite literally change in front of my eyes. I became more involved with these kids, I became friends with them, and I worked by my mother's side. It truly takes someone to understand that someone with a learning disability isn't disabled, they're just different. My book contains a lot of butterflies and traditional Mexican elements in it, and I definitely wanted to incorporate who I am and my culture and my background into the book. I use the butterfly to represent the hope and beauty that the future generations will bring to us as children with learning disabilities don't have to fulfill a tragic destiny. Speaking of hope and believing in others, I would like to especially thank these 2 faculty members at Loomis. This book was dedicated to Mr. Silver, who was the first person who really, truly helped me get over my fear of not being good enough. He basically gave me a B-, borderline C+, my first grade sophomore year, and yeah, that's Mr. Silver for you. But he definitely helped me get the hardest A- of my life. He truly inspired me to go back to the first draft of my book and bring it to life after reading his comments applauding my personal narratives about working with kids with ADHD.